My name is Jodie Gatto. I'm 18 years old. I have just started my first year at the Robert Gordon University studying sociology. I'm a member of the Mearns Youth Forum.
My name is Fraser Thompson. I am 19 years old. I am studying animation at Aberdeen College. I'm also a member of the Mearns Youth Forum.
My name is Kirsty Forrester. I'm a community learning and development worker for Aberdeenshire Council based at Mearns Community Centre. The Mearns is an accessible rural area about halfway between Aberdeen and Dundee. It is a growing community situated in the strategic growth corridor which runs alongside the A90 dual carriageway.
During December 2008, young people aged 12 to 25 across the Mearns Community School Network area were asked what they felt about living as community. The Mearns Youth Consultation was organised by the Mearns Youth Forum in Aberdeenshire Council's Community Learning and Development, or CLD.
CLD work in Scotland encompasses youth work, adult learning and community development work. CLD should empower people individually and collectively to make positive changes in their lives and communities through learning. Good CLD practice is based on identified need. In December 2008, our local CLD team and the Youth Forum did not know what the needs of the young people in the Mearns were.
The Mearns Youth Forum aims to make the Mearns the best place to be for a young person in Aberdeenshire.
We needed to be able to better represent young people locally.
We needed to improve the quality of youth work delivery locally.
The main purposes of the consultation were to find out young people living and going to school in the Mearns felt about the community,
establish a responsive approach to developing youth work provision in the Mearns,
engage with young people in the Mearns area and make them aware of services and potential opportunities available to them through youth work.
At the time there was very little youth representation within the Mearns. Community planning structures need to recognise the importance of youth participation and to bring young people's voices to the table. Young people were involved and drove the process from the start, designing graphics, planning assembly presentations, liaising with the school, analysing results and feeding back.
Young people who took part were asked about different aspects of life in the Mearns. While most of the questions came from members of the Mearns Youth Forum, questions also came from community planning partners such as the police, education and Barnardo's. The consultation was delivered at Mearns Academy and at different locations around the Mearns. The response was excellent. 263 young people took part, with 91% being school pupils. It was carried out via paper questionnaire, receiving a very high response rate of more than 1 in 4 young people in the Mearns took part. But these methods didn't work well for those who had already left school.
We did try to engage with young people at the co-op on a Friday evening and in local businesses, but it was difficult for under 16s, the age of most forum members, to engage with 18 to 25-year-olds. Engaging with this age group is a challenge and we've struggled to identify ways to do this effectively. On reflection, consulting was relatively easy. What happened next was the hard part, and it was the next steps that ensured there was an impact. We fed back to young people through a youth event with bands and youth information displays, gathering more information from young people along the way.
The Youth Forum analysed the youth consultation results, highlighting what they felt were the key points and what actions they felt they could take to address them. These points were used as tools to facilitate discussion with service providers and partners from voluntary organisations at a meeting in May 2009.
The Mearns Youth Consultation was a great success. It was good to see the amount of people and groups that supported us and responded. The consultation showed us that most young people felt that they were not listened to, but through the feedback process it was really encouraging to see that more people in the community were listening to what young people had said.
Community Learning and Development staff, in partnership with the Mearns Youth Forum, worked hard to respond to the views expressed in the Youth Consultation as a result of the Mearns Youth Consultation 2008.
The Youth Forum was more focused and became an independently constituted group, holding their first ever AGM in 2010.
We have more focused youth work.
There is an increase in youth representation through the Scottish Youth Parliament and at local strategic partnerships.
Improved sexual health services and information for young people, including free contraception and a pocket information guide designed for and by young people.
The local CLD team have been able to use the research to get £15,000 worth of funding.
In October 2010, the Mearns Youth Forum successfully applied to the Kincardine and Mearns Community Planning Group for funding to conduct a follow-up consultation, in order to update our data and to evaluate the impact of the previous consultation. As a group, we discussed and decided questions to put within the consultation, and the Community Planning Group also submitted, which were included in the questionnaire. We invited other youth groups, Launch Group Skaters, the People Council and Scouts, etc., to a meeting to give feedback on the questions before they became final.
The consultation was carried out using PP Vote, an electronic voting system, during February 2011 at Mearns Academy, at the Friday Night Youth Cafe, at youth work groups and online via the Youth Forum website. These methods were less effective than the previous paper questionnaire, but this could have been because, although optional, the teachers were more involved in getting young people to complete the 2008 consultation. 144 young people took part, approximately 15 to 20% of young people aged 12 to 25 living in the area. The results were then compiled into a report, and the Mearns Youth Forum went through the report and identified the main issues, what needed to be done to address them, and what the Mearns Youth Forum could do.
Having fed back to young people through an event with bands and youth information displays, the results were then fed back to stakeholders at a meeting in June. The main aims of the feedback event was to identify outcomes and find out how people we invited could help with the main issues that were highlighted to young people who were consulted.
We decided to feed back the results through the use of case studies which dealt with specific issues such as transport, stress, nothing to do, alcohol misuse, and not feeling safe at night. The method was chosen as it was understood that many of the issues raised were interlinked in some way or another, i.e., if you have no transport, you have nothing to do, and vice versa. The case studies were then presented to the groups and were discussed in detail with the forum members, facilitating the discussion. These discussions and further responses from decision makers were compiled in a report, which is available to view on our website, alongside all our other reports and films from 2008 and 2011 consultations.
The 2011 youth consultation revealed that many of the issues young people raised in 2008 have not been addressed. Transport is still an issue, as well as lack of lighting in parks. Many young people felt that there should be more youth-friendly areas to hang out, despite the forum helping to run the youth cafe and the music and media project. Young people have also made it clear that they feel less safe in Mearns than they did 3 years ago. We hope the decision makers will take what young people have said into consideration when planning for the future and try to respond to some of our concerns.
We feel that our research has made a difference. Young people are listened to more, services for young people have improved, and as individuals and as a group, we are more aware that we can have an impact on our community.
To me, it was community planning in action. Young people recognising that there are things that could be done to improve their quality of life, and actually going out and canvassing the views and the opinions of their peer group, and taking control of the situation to try to make things better.
I was actually surprised, I think, from speaking to the people in the village where I live. I think I'd thought that we were the only village that was lacking in things for young people to do, and it's highlighted that that's not the case. But I think also one of the positive things that came out of it was that young people had identified actually a lot of issues that are good about their village. A lot of people did have good things to say about their village, and that was very encouraging, because sometimes it's perceived that young people have just got nothing good to say about anything.
A general thing that came out of it, a general outcome, is it very publicly showed and showcased really the talents young people have, and the fact that they are committed to making this area as good as they can, not perhaps as sometimes they're more negatively portrayed as causing difficulties in this area.
I think young people are listened to a bit more, particularly the Youth Forum as an organisation, just from the circles I'm working in, the managers I'm working with at the moment, from other departments and other services. I think they recognise the voice of young people differently.
From a community council point of view, it's pointed us in, it's reinforced what we've probably known all along, where we've got big gaps in the provision for young people in and around Oxford.
Certainly as a community councillor, I've identified issues and taken them to various forums and raised them, but also it's identified for us the gap of not having a young person, and I think having young people involved has made a significant effect on some of the work that MAP have done since this consultation, where we've been actively able to involve young people, and it's made a whole wealth of difference to what we've done.
Has it made any difference to young people?
I think it's made people more aware. You've definitely kind of taken the interest in music and the cameras and things, and there's lots of clubs now, I think, for young people, what they want.
They've now got a music and media project on a Monday night that is on its hall for people to go to.
The youth forum have got like a lot of like good feedback from, you know, like Mr. Parkin and all that sort of stuff. So I do think they listened to it and, you know, took us seriously.
What did
we took the information that we got and presented it to other groups in our community. People like MAP and the police and whoever else we got in, and they went away.
And use that
And then
information.
we used the information ourselves, and we got things like free contraception. We opened up the Friday night youth cafe. We did things like that.
Music group.
And we did, yeah, the music group. And it's lasted for ages, it's been so well.
I did learn more about my community because I'd never been that involved in it before. Like I didn't know anything about anyone.
I think I've become a lot more confident in myself and like speaking to people that I don't know in a more sort of professional manner.
I think it helped me personally to learn how to do such like a wide scale thing. Because obviously I've been doing my shows and things, and with that I think it kind of, I needed something before that to kind of say, well, this is how you manage all this.
I got skills from filming that as well.
Well, it was the first thing I did in the youth forum, so I felt like it helped me connect with everyone in the youth forum.
The forum grew while we were doing this, which helped a lot, and so I've got more friends now, sort of, and I'll go speak to anybody, sort of thing, and that's helped. But we're also, most of the forum members are quite well known within school for being in the forum, which is quite good as well.
I think it brought us together more. I know that sounds cheesy, but because I don't think, a lot of us didn't, well, we were a group of friends, but there was a lot of people I think were kind of left out before because we didn't know them, they didn't know us. But because we were all working together in such a confined kind of space and period of time, I think as a forum we functioned better after it.
We have tried to explore how to effectively engage with young people, something which can be quite challenging at times.
Sometimes there is nothing you can do to get people involved, particularly people over 17, especially once they have left school, have moved on emotionally and socially. It is hard to get them to do a consultation about where they are from. Some people seem to think that a consultation carried out by representatives of the young people or community who you want to engage with will be more effective. Just because we are young doesn't mean that we know the most effective ways to engage young people. Sometimes you just have to use whatever means are at your disposal to get it done.
Another thing we have been interested in is the different roles young people and workers in the youth consultation. Initially we felt that young people led the process. The workers gave us structure where we drove the consultation. On reflection we decided that it was half and half. As much of the legwork was done by Kirsty, and that can't be overlooked, I would like the process to have been entirely led by young people, but the truth is she did lots of the work.
Involving young people takes time, and because the youth forum only met once a week, we could never have managed an entire consultation by ourselves.
We have come to the conclusion that, rather than being the lead researcher, I had a facilitating and administrating role, but the young people led and carried out the research.
It was really important that this process was led by young people because it meant that we had control over what questions were asked, ensuring that they were relevant and how the information was interpreted. Involving young people meant that as well as finding out information which was useful to the Mearns Youth Forum and community planning partners, all of us who were involved were able to learn from the process. We learned that young people really can have an impact about decision-making structures and how to influence them.
Collaboration in a community research project like this is really important. The community needs to be at the fore, supported by researchers and professionals alike to take control of their own future and decisions affecting them.
As well as having an impact on us as a group of young people, our consultation also impacted the work of the wider adult community. As a result, young people are more involved in decision making locally, and the Mearns Youth Forum, as a representative voice for young people, are consulted about a range of issues. We feel that this would not have happened if the local CLD team had carried out the consultation themselves and not involved young people. Sometimes it feels that before you can put your point across, you have to prove that young people have a right to be present. Sometimes people try to sideline you because you're young. When we engaged with decision makers, it was good to show them that young people aren't just causing trouble and mucking about.
And it probably wasn't just young people who benefited. The whole issue of community involvement and consultation was highlighted and has led to different ways of working.
CLD work is all about learning, and the educational dimension of this project was a key element. As a professional, I learned a lot about myself, about equalities issues, about planning and decision-making structures. The young people learned skills which have helped them in education and were exposed to ideas which have influenced them as individuals. the community and other agencies, instead of making assumptions about young people, find out about the lived experiences of young people living and learning in the Mearns. It was
The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child states that young people have a right to be consulted about things that affect us. Young people want to be involved in the community and decisions, and the youth consultation meant that people did start asking us.
CLD continued to work with the Mearns Youth Forum to respond to the needs of young people living in this rural Scottish community. Participatory action research is embedded in our practice and enriches all the work we do, keeping us relevant. We hope that together we can develop vibrant youth work provision that is accessible, responsive and relevant to the young people who live and go to school in the Mearns today.